Hey, everybody, it's the Monday Review. Got Charlie. Let me start that over again. You prefer Charlie or what? Is that?
Doesn't matter. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody, it's the Monday Review. Walkie's off this Monday. Got Charlie Boehm and Vince with me. Charlie, how are you? Back again.
Honored to be here. Honored as always.
Honored to have you. Vince, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man, and honored to be in the presence of Chuck, Charlie, Charles, Boehm. Because well, first of all, I was sad to miss the episode, the previous episode that he was on, because Charles, Chuck, Charlie has been one of the people that's really got me, ever since I joined Scuff and started doing the thing. It was really like him and Jeremiah Ocean. Those are the two. Those are the two. Like I don't know, not just friends of the pod, but I've been friends of Vince since I've started doing this.
Kindred spirits is.
Let's go. The golden endorsement. I cannot believe it. This is incredible, Vince. Thank you.
That's right, baby. You put out good energy in the world, it comes back around
right.
to you.
Love that, man. You're natural though. You're natural. It was easy on my side.
So Vince, you want to talk about Wrexham, right? You've been wanting to talk about Wrexham for months and months and months.
Hey, I mean, I do think at this point, because I think the last time we talked about him, or I talked about him, it was to poo-poo it and poo-poo the whole story and all that type of stuff because of my contrarian nature. When a lot of people are just hyped about something, I'm just like, yeah, it's worked out for me. Jesse Marsh, maybe worked against me with Diego Luna, etc. But now I have to. I mean, I gotta respect it. 3 straight promotions in a row. That they are now in what we can call the big leagues, since they have made it to the championship, and I cannot ignore it. And the fact that they embarked on this project and seem to be in it for all the right reasons. I get him confused with it. This is Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
I get Ryan Reynolds confused with the other dude.
Ryan Gosling.
Like, yes, that's it. But yeah, they seem to be in it for the right reasons. They've done it like the hard way. They didn't just swoop into some already huge club and refurbish it and do a couple things. Like, nah, man, they went into like an old Welsh industrial
town.
Into
like West Virginia, basically.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And for anybody that hasn't driven through West Virginia, you need to do it at some point, because it's like, I mean, no, I know we got some West Virginians because there's some in the Discord. There's some that like, and I spent a lot of time in West Virginia. My cousin played baseball, etc. I'm not really trying to doubt to poo-poo it, but there's some scenes in there that you may or may not believe is America. Okay, so anyway, but yeah, to do it this way, to bring them up to the National League and through the pyramid, and to not only do that, but to promote soccer over in America, by putting the TV show on, by bringing Wrexham here for preseason friendlies or whatever, all that different type of stuff. I have to say, overall, I can't be too much of a grump about it, and we'll see what they're about once they hit the championship. So,
yeah, this is where it gets real, I think. And I'm like, I know it's a storyline both on the field and off, because they're also an entertainment product, but like, they're not going to be the big dogs by any nature anymore. The championship is, I've become a fan of it, actually. Like, everybody loves the Premier League. That's great. Champo is possibly even more of a dogfight, just the nature of it, what a grind it is, the different types of clubs. And Wrexham is going to be a really interesting addition. And they're not going to be blowing anybody out of the water. I don't think they're going to have to earn it.
Yeah. I've never poo-pooed the Wrexham thing because I'm a pro rail zealot. That's why,
right.
the mystical power of pro rail has a hold on me, and I see that path up the ladder, and that makes me excited.
Yeah, and I think for like, we talked about the USL stuff a lot, right? And for people that are pro USL or pro MLS having competition that is pro rail based. I think maybe the argument that they can really hold on to as far as maybe proof of concept that this might be able to work is just seeing how the Wrexham story has enraptured not even casuals. I mean, we're not talking about casual soccer fans. We're talking about people that
do not care about soccer.
Typical American sports fans that do not care about soccer, and the opportunity that Wrexham had due to the promotion and relegation system, I think is at least a solid 50% of why they've had so much success here in this country, as far as gaining eyeballs and cerebral cortexes.
I watched the first. I haven't watched the whole show. I watched like the first 4 or 5 episodes, but I do remember they went to great pains to explain the different divisions and the pyramid in that first episode. And I thought, man, if you're not really following this and you see this and you're a regular sports fan, you probably will be intrigued by the, what was it? There's a bottleneck between the National League and League 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's basically impossible to get through there. It has to be an act of God to get from National League to League 2. But then once you get into League 2, then you can really get going. And that was the hard part, I guess, going from National, because they didn't do it the first season, did they?
Yeah, there was some agony, real agony early on, and some near misses.
All right. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna be rooting for Wrexham, but I'll be paying attention.
I think isn't the next part of the content strategy to go find an American or maybe a Canadian if you want to go Ryan Reynolds on it, like that would be a fun little hook. Mm-hmm. Let's see, let's see a Yank with the Red Dragons.
Who you got for taps for Wrexham?
Well, I'll just throw out to the listeners what we were batting around before we started recording, which is despite him having a pretty good season and his club having an excellent season, there's widespread reporting that Brendan Aronson is facing the exit door at Leeds United. I don't know about that decision myself. I don't know if that's entirely fair to the player. But if they've decided that they need a Premier League level number 10 and they're basing that off of Brendo's, struggles and the very brief and challenging circumstances under which he got that opportunity the first time around, then they're going to go out and splash some money, I would imagine. And that leaves him either trying to battle his way back into a rotation spot, or maybe he's shown enough for others to decide that this is a top championship player. I still think he's actually doing the business for the team that just won the division. But man, that'd be some fun content, right? Get an Aronson on the squad.
Yeah, he looks like a little Welshman too, doesn't he? A little bit.
They love a scurrying technical, kind of
looks like Daniel Jones
kind of guy. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They should
pale,
get some
dark
respect.
hair. Yeah.
He's got the industrial backdrop experience from his time in southeastern Pennsylvania. Yeah. Let's go.
Bethlehem Steel to Wrexham.
Yeah. Oh man, that's right. Ooh, yeah, that's good. Vince, they gotta get you on the writing team.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's gonna be my one, little zinger that pops up today. But Chuck, we might have to get you on out of here because I don't know if you're aware, but this is a anti-Brendan Aronson podcast, man. You're a little too flowery with you.
Well, hold on then. I mean, you can always spin it, right? Be like exile that underperforming lightweight to the Welsh hill country, right? There you go.
Look, man, there's worse places to go than staying in the championship. I think. I had to get my one Brendan Aronson moment in there, but I wouldn't be mad at it. Let's get maybe Matt Turner. He's not playing at all. Also, I saw today, our Eredivisie correspondent Daniel Smith put in the Discord that Ernie Stewart said PSV is looking for in the market for a keeper. So between there, Wrexham, I don't know. But thinking about it, the one dude that's not Ryan Reynolds has the Philadelphia connection, right?
Rob McElhenney. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So maybe Brendan fits just You know, perfect
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, man.
McElhaney's the real blood and guts behind this whole thing, right? I mean, he's the one.
Seems
with,
like it. Yeah, it seems like it
and
based on the
Feels
show
like
and
it.
everything. Yeah, how do
What's
y'all
the
feel
read on
about?
Ryan Reynolds? Do people like him, or is he on too
Mm-mm.
many phone commercials? Yeah. Okay.
People do not like the things I see about him are always negative, and and you know, there's that weird thing going on with his wife, right? In that lawsuit,
Mm.
what I forgot his wife's name. She be with Taylor Swift at the
Blake
Chiefs
Lively.
games.
Blake
Blake
Lively.
Lively, beautiful woman.
Who's she
But
suing? Or who's suing?
Justin Baldoni.
She was targeted, basically, kind of like had a coordinated, as I understand it, a coordinated reputation wrecking operation was launched against her, and yeah, man, I'm a little more. I'm pretty sympathetic, as much as sympathetic as I can be to massive, extremely wealthy Hollywood A-listers. I'm sympathetic to the Reynolds Lively axis, I have to say, but I mean, I have to say he seems like a clever business person in terms of leveraging the wealth and fame that he got to even bigger levels of wealth and fame with some smart decisions. And at this point, we have to say Wrexham is one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll always be a legend for Van Wilder. I'll say that.
I didn't know how big Deadpool was in the UK until the Wrexham scenes that showed like the guys, like, they're like, Deadpool bought our club. This is incredible. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do y'all feel about It's Always Sunny? And
Always Sunny, the parts that I've watched, which is not a lot, I think are funny. I like it.
Okay.
I'm a stan. I have to say, I've watched every episode, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good show. Incredible longevity. It's probably an acquired taste. But
McElhaney's the writer too, right? Or he's one of the writers?
One of them, yeah.
I mean, that's a legit accomplishment right there.
Yeah, they've been on, like, I think they're pushing into Simpsons territory in terms of like how many years they've been doing it. So that alone impresses me.
They're still doing it?
Working in a job that where sustainability is difficult.
The vapidity and emptiness of particularly the blonde girl and the handsome dude is just magnificent. What a magnificent achievement that is. All right, let's move on. Balogun scores his first goal since October, and I think actually was really good in this outing. His first start since he got injured. Played a part in all 3 goals. Yes, his contribution to the first was a modest little layoff, but what a flowing move this was. This was champagne football from Monaco against a pretty bad Saint-Etienne team. And another plug for Pro-Rel. Saint-Etienne's terrible, and that stadium was full and very intense because they're trying to fight their way to safety. So,
Belz, are you aware that that's Timothy Chalamet's club?
I was not aware. I mean, no, I wasn't aware of that. That's kind of weird that that's his club. Like, is he just deliberately choosing odd things to
He has
cool?
a childhood connection. He has spoken about it repeatedly. I reckon, like, I'm not gonna vouch entirely for this, but because it's always possible that these are elaborately constructed PR pushes. But this dude seems like a legit ball is life type soccer liker. He's spoken often of growing up. He grew up with Alex Muyl, who now plays for Nashville. He was a Red Bulls Academy kid, and they were like, they had a what did they do? They covered like a Justin Bieber song or something when they were like
something like
children, and then the video came out, and it was like so Chalamet has vouched for Muyl and vice versa, and he talks about being a Saint Etienne fan because his dad's French, right? I think so. And he goes to games. You see him at various games in various leagues. Like, I think he's really into it. So
he was wearing a Columbus Crew jacket in Cannes.
Yeah,
a couple
incredible vintage. Like whatever
the,
handler
like
or entourage member,
the hard hat guy on it.
Men at work crest. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, and
even if it's his entourage, they're doing work, man. They did incredible work on that.
I shouldn't have doubted Chalamet because isn't he the same guy who like he went when he was at NYU? He went to like a speech by a rapper and asked to be knighted by the rapper. Like this,
Lil B,
this,
Lil B, the bass god. Yes,
Yeah.
he got knighted by Lil B, which well, Belz, knowing you, I know you're not familiar with Lil B whatsoever.
I'm not. I mean, I wasn't even. I looked him up back when I saw this happen. I still wasn't familiar with him. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Looking Lil B up is not gonna even explain to you like the cultural significance or anything. Like it's just like he was basically like the first meme rapper almost. To put it
like that doesn't mean anything.
way.
What's a meme? What's a meme rapper?
So
didn't he coin the term based? He's isn't he one of the authors of the concept?
Yeah.
Wow.
It all came from Lil B the bass god. And basically I couldn't even tell you what being based is necessarily or what he meant by it. It's just like spreading love and positivity. And he's a terrible rapper. Okay. That's number one that you should know. Terrible rapper. I mean like comically bad. Like if you listen to some songs, and we used to bump Lil B all the time, but like and it starts off as a joke, but then you start listening to him unironically, it's just I can't explain who Lil B is or why he has the pull that he does, but it's just like it's all aura. It's all aura, aura before aura. We're talking about 2011, like into my freshman year of college, into my sophomore year of college. I remember first day sophomore year of college. We get in the dorms, we get everything situated, we plug the speaker in, we turn that Lil B up immediately, and to the point to where my roommates' mom and dad were on the other side of the suite getting his stuff situated, and they had to come over like, hey. His mom don't want to hear all that cussing, man. It's just, it is just like I said, it's terrible, but everything is just based on aura, his swag, he just created a whole world around just being yourself, and a huge part of the being yourself thing was just him rapping. Even though he was bad at rapping, he was rapping like he was the best rapper on the planet, and he gained a huge following that way. He has a huge cultural significance. But yeah, like I said, and a Wikipedia page is just not going to be able to relay all those things to you.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And I mean, Chalamet believes in him. I mean, it meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
Meant a lot to him. But back to Chalamet's club, Saint Etienne, they lost 3-1 to Monaco, and like I said, there was a little layoff on that flowing move from Balo when Beereth turns and plays him into space. It was understated and clever. And then he makes a hard near post run, leaves the ball as it gets clipped across the goal, and you get a tidy finish from Akliush. That's like in the opening minutes. On the second one, Balo ran in behind. He's a handful. When he gets that shoulder inside you, and ball gets played in behind. He runs to the end line, floats it back across to the top of the box. Minamino kind of messes up the chance. His shot gets blocked, but it falls to Almas Musrati, who has one from distance on the deflection, and it pings in. And then, of course, Balo got his goal, which sealed it late. Kind of a broken play, honestly. Everybody thought he was offside. He wasn't. He gets played into a 1v1 with the keeper and tucks it home.
So rode the knife's edge on that one. Yeah.
What's that, Charlie?
He rode the knife's edge on that one, I have to say. When you think about a player like that who's been out for so long, do you hit the ground running because you've been grinding so hard for so many months behind the scenes to get back on the field and find your top form, or does it take you a significant period of time of match action, right? And so I have to say, when you just look at overall that game in particular, and I haven't watched a ton of his other games, but he's looked sharper than I think you would expect given the layoffs.
Yeah, and I think it's just like the type of player he is. It's just like as long as Flo can run, he's going to impact the soccer game. Like maybe he fluffs that chance. He fluffed the chance early in the match. He had a pretty good one, and he put it like all the way wide of the goal frame. I think it hit off like the advertising boards and bounced back. But like he's just gonna cause problems regardless. Like he's a low touch striker, but he's not a low impact striker. He's just gonna find the center back, whichever one he chooses to pick on, and just gonna run off him all day, all day. And I remember one game last year where like within like the first 15 minutes, it's like he gets played in behind like 6 times, he loses 5, and then the one he wins, it was that one highlight reel one from last year when he threw a dude to the ground and like carried it a little bit and scored. But it's just he's just constantly gonna go. And like I said, whether or not the layoffs really hit or like his touch is going, or if he's sharp when he gets those chances in front of goal, that's a whole different question. But it's like he's gonna impact the soccer game as long as he can bring his physicality to it and he knows how to use it. And I just love watching him every time he plays just because of that. Um, he's just a menace.
Yeah, he is. He is, and he was going wild with the layoffs in this game. I mean, he did one
Yeah.
layoff where he laid it off, broke 2 lines backwards with the layoff. Played it back, played it back, played it back through 2 lines of Saint Etienne's defense to find a teammate. But mostly they were working, and it's good to see him rounding into form as the summer approaches.
Yeah,
Doesn't
and
it?
it was been out for a long time, and I just want to remind people that he was primed for a big season. Like he was, I want to say it was like 3 goals in 7 matches or something. Before he got hurt, dislocated his shoulder or whatever. Like it was coming for him this season. Unfortunately, he got hurt and all that, and now Beerif's there and whatnot. But I still think he'll be good. Like I mean, with Mbolo, Beerif, and himself healthy in this match, he got to start. And they play 2 strikers anyway. I think everything's going to be just fine.
Yeah, Beerth is good. Beerth's good to play with. I mean, we talked about this a few weeks ago, but like, if you want to play with an elite striker, he's probably one. He's in that short list that you would really like to play with because he's a good passer too.
Monaco looking like they're on track for Champions League.
Yep.
Still got some work to do, but that's really promising. And we'll put this in front of you guys. He's got to be on the Gold Cup squad, right? He doesn't need rest. Surely Poch is going to want to take a look, right?
You
Yeah,
would think so.
A long look, let's say.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And real quick, Monaco's handling their business. On the other side of that front, Lyon is not handling their business. I think they're almost at this point going to play themselves out of Europe. I mean, they're out of Europe right now. They're in 7th place. Maybe they get a cheeky Conference League. I don't know, but they
cheeky Conference
lost.
League, maybe run into AC Milan there.
Yeah. they lost against this Saint Etienne team, which apparently is like some big derby. I wasn't aware, but they lost to them, and then this past week they lost to Lens 2-1, and that's 6 points that they needed, 6 points that would have put them in 2nd place of Ligue 1, and points that you would think that they would collect, and because the Lens game was at home, they play Saint Etienne on the road, but anyway, 6 points that they did not get. Tana Tessman did not start this weekend. They chose to play so Tolisso and Matic was a double pivot, and they played Almada, Cherki, Mikatase, and Fofana, which really I can't be too mad at that. That's a solid lineup. They should have brought it home for Lyon, but they haven't. And let me see, Ligue 1 has 2 more matches left. 2 more matches left. They got Monaco and they got Angers, and so they need to win probably both of them. I think Champions League's out the question, but maybe they can get Europa League. But there's a lot of teams stacked in that little block right there.
Opportunity slipping through their fingers, man. Fonseca's too busy talking about how hard of a job Milan is. Needs to focus on the job he's doing right now. He gave an interview like a week ago and said, you wouldn't believe the pressure in Milan. It's unbelievable. Something like that. And meanwhile, his team's dropped 6 points in 2 weeks. So
It's a shame.
I'm just messing around, but yeah. All right, so let's go to PSV. They won 4-1 at home against Fortuna Sittard. Tillman and Ledesma both started. Des came in for the last 15. I don't have a ton to say. I mean, Tillman did some slick stuff. There was a couple of shot assists that were real nice, plus kind of stuff. Richie made a lot of underlapping runs. Rick Elfrink is reporting that Ernie told Richie that PSV will not be extending his contract, and there are some sort of unconfirmed reports that he has interest from Chivas, Italy, and the championship. I mean, it seems a little harsh for them not to want to renew his contract. He's been a good soldier this year, but
I think I saw somewhere that there is an offer on the table for lesser terms. So maybe he just doesn't want that, which understood. Especially after you done held it down for an entire campaign, basically. But yeah, it is what it is, man. It seems like we're gonna be seeing them in the Mekis next year.
Man, I hope not. I hope he goes somewhere else, but at least he's put together a full season of tape as a pro soccer player, which I don't know if anybody thought that was going to be the case this time last year. So counter blessings. Tillman's punishment for being late to a team meeting was brief. He's back in the starting lineup. But NSCX, that's a Twitter handle, wants us to analyze the Malik Rokas Pukstas effort commitment spectrum. And I think this is a great question.
Love this.
He replied to a tweet and added us. The tweet was from Croatian football, and it's got a picture of Rokas looking, I don't know, a little bit troubled. And it says, after getting stuck in traffic due to an accident, Rokas Pukstas parked his car, rode a bike, and then fell into a manhole. And eventually he ran across the city of Split to make it to Hajduk Split's morning training session. A wacky turn of events for the American this morning. So assuming this is true, that he actually fell into a manhole trying to ride his bike to practice. I don't know, the spectrum sort of writes itself, doesn't it?
I'm just glad he's okay. It sounds terrifying.
Yeah, sounds horrible.
This Looney Tunes ass fucking this trip he was on, man. What is this? It's like
I mean, that could end his career. Riding a bike into a manhole.
Yeah. Surely he didn't fall all the way into the manhole, right? Like
I do have so many follow-up questions. Yeah. Like, is this a bike share? They got like a Lime bike situation going on over there. Like, where'd the bike come from? Did he have the bike on the back of the car? Did the car get left in the traffic?
Maybe somebody was riding the bike by and he said, "Hey, can I borrow your bike? I got to get to training."
Hey man, I play for a big club, man. I got to go.
Yeah. And I do think a key part of this is his manager's Gennaro Gattuso, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And
is that right?
That's why you're hauling ass.
Yeah, he had to go. Man. He had to go. Like just show up with the limp and then let him assess you there. But don't call him over the phone. Oh, I just fell in a manhole. Nah. That's not gonna work, baby.
Yeah. It's amazing.
The Gattuso aura is incredible.
Yeah. This could be the plot for like Space Jam 3. You get sucked into the cartoon world when you fall into the manhole. And then Gattuso got to come down there too. Oh man, ooh, that's beautiful. That sounds great, actually. A cartoon Gattuso in the Looney Tunes world.
You would hope Potch at least sends him like a, hope you're doing okay text. I see you.
Nah, I wouldn't count on it, Charlie.
Come on,
I wouldn't count on that.
Hey, he wants to grow that player pool.
Does he?
This is a sign. He wants some desperation out on the pitch. I would take notice if I were him.
I would put decent money on him having never even heard the name Rokas Pukstis before.
I would feel strongly confident though that someone on staff is trolling Twitter, perusing Twitter for data points. And so I mean, Poch must have like give me the Twitter compendium, every Monday or whatever. Let's say say, hey man, we got something interesting happening down in Croatia. We think you should see this.
Yeah. After Rokas Pukstis plane fell into a wormhole, then he had to hitchhike a ride from 5,000 light years away. He made it to USMNT camp.
Hey, listen, kid, you're not flying commercial. We got the private jet. We heard you. We heard you're a little accident prone.
So the two men, Malik and Rokas, obviously on different ends of the spectrum, but I prefer Malik. I prefer the Malik way of doing things. You never catch Malik falling in a manhole, man. He's never in that much of a hurry. Not even in the final third with the ball at his feet.
Well, y'all got to record a special episode for that. If anything like that ever happens, for sure. That's massive.
Yeah. So that's where it manifests positively. Adam Belz, where, like you said, final third, ball at his feet. He's just chilling. But yeah, on the flip side of things, of course, being late to buses, being late to team meetings, etc., letting his teammates down significantly as they laid out for us last week. You just gotta find the happy medium there. Gotta find the happy medium. Also, since we got Chuck here, I do want to ask you, all this talk about Seb Berhalter got me thinking about other MLS midfielders, and the one who I've pledged fealty to over the past years, Timothy Tillman. It seems like he's been doing his thing this year. Do you think he maybe should be in the fold or what?
I'm a little surprised that things haven't gone more in that direction for him, just in terms of national team opportunities. And again, I think I've had some version of this conversation with you guys before. I mean, I say it often, like, everything you're doing at the club level just gets you in the door, right? And then and national team coaches, like most coaches, are inevitably going to prioritize what they see and experience firsthand with a player. So you can do everything right, and then it just doesn't shake out when you're in a camp. But he is, I think he's quite possibly, outside of Denis Bouanga, like LAFC's most important player, because and this has been a big topic in MLS circles. Like, Steve Cherundolo has persistently been sort of gone into a tactical shell a little bit, and there's sort of doubts about his ability to win big games because he's just such a reflexively conservative manager. And that sort of has reflected itself in the way their midfield is constructed. They've let go a lot of sort of attacking minded types who can play a final pass and help them play pretty soccer in preference to dogs and ball winners and defensive types. So I think some of that gets overblown a little bit, because you have to make it to big games to lose big games. But Tillman is one of those. He's a truly two-way player. He's just always involved in everything they do. I think he's an interesting skill set and profile. And then the next question just becomes, how does he translate that to the next level up? And we don't have much sample size on that. And I think if you with a manager now who is prioritizing MLS, it appears maybe more than the last couple have. I think it's a question worth asking.
There's only room for one, I think.
Have we ever tracked down Papa Tillman, like their dad? Because we didn't get a World Cup video, because obviously he wasn't on the World Cup roster, and that's how we got CCV's dad and Serginho's dad. But where is Mr.
Curious
Tillman
now?
I don't think he's involved.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, you watch the few videos that we got about Malik, and they're always like, our mom was the one that was there for us, etc. I think it's just them three, as far as I know.
Okay.
As far as I know, and there hasn't been anything about Tim's here now, right? Full time. Hasn't been anything about like a reunion or anything like that with Papa Till. So yeah, I don't think.
Okay.
Timmy briefly mentioned him in a My Story type piece that LAFC ran. I think it was last year, and he said, "This is his words in writing. Our mom Anja raised me and my brother Malik, and she wasn't particularly into football at the time. Neither was our dad, who was around until I was about 4 or 5 years old. He was in the U.S. Army and traveled a lot, so he wasn't at home much. So
Okay. Wonder where he is now. Atlanta, maybe.
got to find that out. This is a Discord. This sounds like a Discord based project. Somebody out there has seen him. Somebody. We got to shake the bushes. Somebody's out
Hold on,
there.
Belz. Why is he in Atlanta?
I don't know. Maybe just some big city, where you chill after a career in the Army.
Lower cost of living down there.
Los Angeles doesn't seem right. He wouldn't be in Los Angeles, would he? Yeah.
I mean,
who knows?
Timmy brought him out. Yeah.
Let's take a little break. We'll be back in a minute. If you want to get all these episodes ad free, join the Patreon. Link is in the show notes. All right, we're back. Juventus still in the hunt for Champions League, still in a Champions League spot. West and Away both started in their away draw with Bologna over the weekend. West won the ball in the lead up to the first goal for Kefren Thuram's goal. And then, I don't know, other than that, it looks like Juve has reached a verbal agreement with West on a deal through 2028. And we're going to see them on Saturday, Vince. We'll be there for Lazio Juve this Saturday.
Big time, man. It's finally here. It's finally here. Big game, right?
I know. A lot of stakes.
Yeah, a lot of
Deadlock.
stakes, man. So, yeah.
Both teams on 63 points.
Because
Right
if anybody who listens to the podcast would remember, when we were in Italy last spring, we saw Milan visit Juve, but that was a total dead rubber. There was nothing to play for either team. It still was one of the highlights of my life. So I can't wait. I still can't wait for this one, which will be a meaningful game in Rome.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to get there. Excited to see it. Yeah, my first time outside the country, and I get to ring it in. Like my first 24 hours, I'm gonna see Weston and Tim out there fighting for Champions League. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, we're like landing in the morning on Saturday, and then basically getting ready for the game.
How many is in y'all's crew? How many you got?
10 people plus Vince, George, and me. I would invite people to sign up, but I think it's too late. So shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know what I'm saying?
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Belz has been saying
I'm
that
jealous, guys.
over and over. He's been promoting it.
Yeah. So that'll be incredible. And then, by the way, we're gonna record something on Sunday, Vince and I, and probably Waukee as well. And then probably we'll do something right after the Coppa Italia final, which we are going to as well. Got confirmation of that a couple days ago. Milan versus Bologna. So you'll hear more about it from us. AC Milan plays today, later today at Genoa. I said they might get a cheeky Europa Conference League qualification. I don't think they're even in. I don't think they even have a chance at that. Europa Conference League. They'll be in Champions League if they win the Coppa on next Wednesday.
Not 9 points back of Lazio in the league, so that's tough.
Yeah.
Well,
they'll be in Europa, Bills. I'm pretty sure they'll get to Europa. I don't think they go all the way to Champions League.
Oh,
if they win.
doesn't. Okay.
Because I remember when Arsenal won the FA Cup, they went to Europa.
Okay. Well, I mean, they'll take anything they can get because they're not getting it the normal way.
Oh wow! Oh my! Yeah, they really don't got a shot, do they? I didn't realize they were so far back. Jesus.
Yeah.
See what happens when you put Eunice Moose on the bench, man.
Yeah, I think the only other thing about AC Milan is Felix, Joao Felix was asked to describe his teammates in one word. And I mean, got a little case of the pace and power here, but he got asked, so what's the one word for Leao? Speed. One word for Rangers, leadership. One word for Santi Jimenez, stupid. He laughed. He laughed when he said it, but he did say it.
Oh my God.
Rui Costa, class. Teo Hernandez, I said speed for Leao, so I'll say train for Teo. For Magnan, captain, which is a little on the nose, I think. Bruno Fernandes, power. That's his Portugal teammate. Pulisic, quality. He said quality. And then for Cristiano Ronaldo, he said matador.
Did he mean train like in training sessions or a locomotive?
I took it to mean a locomotive because that's
Okay,
kind of what
all right.
Teo reminds me of too.
That would be better. Yeah.
Yeah.
More descriptive.
Matador for Cristiano, though. That's kind of an interesting one, isn't it? Is that like a really high compliment in Portugal to call someone a matador? I don't know.
I don't know. Do they have the? I feel ignorant. I don't know about the bullfighting culture of Portugal. Is there a bullfighting culture?
I mean, there's got to be some spillover from the Basque country, right?
Again, you guys are giving me research homework here. Got to educate myself about Portuguese history with bulls. All right.
Well, yeah, that's the. Go ahead.
Can we talk about Spain and Portugal not having no power, man? Y'all see this? Y'all hear about this?
Yeah.
Electrical power?
Very unfortunate.
Yeah. For like a
I mean, I know they don't have any geopolitical power, but
it's brutal.
What happened?
Do we have a breakdown? Yeah. What's the socio-cultural context here? Why is this happening?
Oh, I have no clue why it happened. I just saw some tweets. Let me see. April 28th, 2025, a major power blackout occurred across the Iberian Peninsula, affecting mainland Portugal and peninsular Spain, where electric power was interrupted for 10 hours in most of the peninsula and longer in some areas. It's their biggest ever blackout.
55 million people in Spain. Man. Atrocious.
So is there any thought of foul play? Was this
I have no clue. I just saw some articles saying they're seeking answers. I don't know.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen again.
I tell you, we can't say much in the States. Every winter, I'm from Texas originally, and every winter now it seems like it's going to be, that janky power grid down there is on its last legs, going to leave people in the cold. So,
yeah. Just Texas though, because they decided to have their own little thing. Is what I learned.
Yeah. Pretty terrible.
We'll see when all these AI farms get up to running.
Dude, that's all I'm thinking about right now. That's all I'm thinking about. Yeah.
Of the 1,000 of reasons to please pump the brakes on this. No one wants this. We want power, reliable power grid. Please stop. This is a call to the Silicon Valley intelligentsia. Please stop. Had enough. I use Otter for transcription. Otter, stop it. I don't want the AI features. Duolingo, I don't want the AI features. Please stop.
Yeah.
I know you have billions of dollars sunk into this. I don't care. Cut your losses.
They're not going to stop, Charlie.
I know. It's going to take my job. It's gonna take
right down into the maw.
Yeah.
Oh, has MLS.com started MLSsoccer.com. Not
I am
not the
not.
real
That's not
team.
my department, but I am under the impression that there is some emerging AI initiatives that are happening, and this is where I flash the Jose Mourinho if I speak GIF. So
Yeah, understood.
Tyler Adams played the full 90 in Bournemouth's comeback win at Emirates Stadium against Arsenal. Good on him.
Yeah, he it was a regular Tyler Adams match. I have to say some of the well, it's obvious, I guess, but there are some people on Twitter being hyperbolic about Tyler Adams' performance. And then when I tapped in, watched it, um, it was okay. It was okay. He did some Tyler Adams stuff, and
Yeah.
he did good. He did good.
you just gotta love him stacking up starts.
Yeah.
And that's what he needs. And he needs some longevity. Great time to catch Arsenal. I mean, that's a result that could reverberate, right? Because that's I don't know if it's like the worst case scenario for Arsenal with everything that's happening with Champions League, but I still would not have expected Bournemouth to wreck them in that way, in that emotionally painful way.
Yeah,
But,
definitely not.
Yeah, bodes well for him. It's just stay healthy, man, please.
It doesn't get Bournemouth back into the picture for for a European spot, but man, they were like 2 months ago they were in the top 5, but they've slid out of that. Basically ever since we noticed that they were really hot.
It's just so hard to do, even with Premier League money, the depth that you need to sustain this. I mean, I think Nottingham Forest is the most incredible thing, and we'll see if how everything ends up. But it's just fantastically difficult to be at that level this point in the season to sustain things.
And Forrest famously bought like 30 players.
Right.
From them gaining promotion until now I think it's like their 3rd consecutive season in the Premier League. And it's like they just keep buying people on top of people. Like they bought I don't know if you remember Sangare from PSV.
Yeah.
6.
He's a good player.
Disappeared.
Just got lost. Yeah.
Right. I thought he was a little overrated, but yeah, just he's not there. I mean, you wouldn't know he was there if you don't.
What's so interesting to me about this topic is I think a lot of managers, maybe even most managers, they would ideally pick an 11 or maybe a 14, like have a tight rotation of players that they trust, that have a chemistry and understanding with one another, and then let them just start them week in, week out, right? And build the rhythm and have that momentum as a collective. And I mean, we'll talk about Vancouver Whitecaps in a little bit here, I think, but they are rotating a little bit on, doing what really no MLS team has ever done, very few, to be making a deep continental push while still being extremely good in the league. And it's incredible. Like I'm always waiting for the bottom to drop out on this, like teams that don't appear to have depth that can still reach a high level just with that understanding you have. But it just takes 1 or 2 injuries, and the physical demands, I think, of these elite leagues are so ferocious. It's the hardest managerial job there is, I think, to get the right mix of rotation and keeping guys fresh while still having that collective understanding and momentum, in the 11 week in, week out. It's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't think about how Vancouver is doing that, but they definitely are, aren't they? Top of the league for points in MLS.
Yeah, but I don't want to skip steps. Excuse me, Belz.
It's okay. So J.My Tolkien, and they're very careful to call him that on the Bundesliga broadcasts. John J.My Tolkien, he and Holstein Kiel are staying alive, just barely. Beat Augsburg 3-1 to keep hope alive. He got the pass before the pass on the first goal, which was really far from goal, but it was actually a really nice little stepped around a guy, played a pass as he was kind of fouled. Yep. And then there was a deep ball in behind that led to like a shot that was blocked up into the air, and then the striker headed it in over the keeper. But I think Tolkien continues to look good, honestly. Any disagreement there, Vince?
No, really. Just the fact that he can receive the ball, face somebody up, and has the option to step past them or find a pass at somebody's feet. It's just like the thing I've been waiting on Joe Scally to develop for 4 years now, and and I don't think it's ever coming for Joe, unfortunately. But I guess when I was watching J-Ma play, it's just like it's nice to know that we can develop this kind of fullback,
Mhm.
and yeah, he was a little bit. This was probably one of his messier games, I would say, but overall, yeah, I mean, got to be pretty pleased with what he's showing in the Bundesliga right now.
Yeah, and
Strong
that
and
team was.
go ahead.
So I'm sorry,
No, you
Bills.
go.
That team was. I think most people would have written them off not that long ago.
Right.
He got an assist that last time out in that wild 4-3 win over Gladbach, and now they can. I think they need some help, and they've got a tough run in with. They've got Freiburg at home and Dortmund away. So I don't know if you'd bet on them, but the fact that they have at least a chance to get maybe even getting into the playoff, the third from bottom spot, and living in another week or two. That's really impressive and a great experience for him, I think, as a player. This just turned out to be the right move at the right time and the right challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And we so often are saying the opposite about a player at this point in their move to Europe.
Yeah.
Well, you know who made the wrong move? Leonard Maloney. I just want to mention that
rough,
because the
Where did he
team
go?
that is he went to Mainz, and the team
January,
that is 1
right?
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heidenheim is 1 point above Kiel, and that got me thinking about Maloney. And I just looked at he's played a total of I can do the quick math here. He's played 18 minutes for Mainz since he made the move in January.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Heidenheim has 2 easier games than Kiel does, I believe. But stranger things have happened. They drop if they lose both of these games and Holstein Kiel wins one of theirs, then they're in the playoffs. So
yeah, Heidenheim has Union and Werder.
No easy games in the Bundesliga, though. Just like MLS. Just like MLS.
That's right.
All right. Josh Sargent, not a ton to say here, but he played the full 90 in Norwich's 4-2 win over Cardiff. Norwich has been not winning a lot lately, so good to see them win. They're at one point were in the promotion hunt, not anymore. So too bad. Coventry was in a 6-pointer with Middlesbrough. Vince, I know you were locked into this one.
Yeah, just to see who would come out on top, Had Aidan Morris against Haji Wright. If Middlesbrough wanted to get into that playoff, they could have did it, but instead they lost 2-0 to Coventry. I think both Yanks played well. Haji wasn't involved in either Coventry goal. Neither was Aiden. Well, actually, so the first Coventry goal is a header. It was a Jack Rudoni brace. First Coventry goal was a header from Rudoni, where Aiden is at the scene of the crime. There's a center back marking Rudoni. Rudoni's bracketed in the box by a center back and Aiden Morris. And the center back is just like standing a yard off of him for whatever reason. And there's a cross to Rudoni, and Aiden Morris is closer to Rudoni than the center back that was marking him is. So it kind of looks like Aiden got like a mini dunked on, but I don't know. I put that more on the center back. He should have been like in contact with Rudoni, to where, if the ball is just placed on his head, there's a contest there, instead of Rudoni just getting a clean header. But yeah, Aiden Morris played mostly well. This was about a 6 out of 10 for Aiden. I want to say, but but have been very pleased with Aiden's season overall. He's been pretty damn good, man. He's a possession conductor, controller in that midfield, and his midfield partner, I think his name's Hayden Hackney or something like that. He's like a
Hayden and Aiden in the midfield.
yeah. But I think he's like a highly rated, youth Englishman midfielder coming up, and they've mostly held it down. Middlesbrough's basically been let down by like a lack of bite. They don't got that Coventry front line. They don't got a Ellis Sims. They don't got a Haji Wright. Like Coventry got some dudes as far as people that can create danger and put the ball in the back of the net. But yeah, I've been pretty impressed with Aiden after starting off pretty lukewarm on his performances at Middlesbrough. I got to put some respect just on the fact that you can get and receive the ball as many times as he does in a match, and really, as far as like getting caught in possession or giving the ball away cheaply, he doesn't do it a lot, and it's he's kind of a unicorn in the pool a little bit.
Pride of Indiana. Well, he's not from Indiana, but he went to Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale to Columbus to Indiana and back to Columbus.
Okay. All right, Daryl Dike. We staying in the Champo. We got to say Daryl Dike scored a goal, his first goal since the
incredible
long
what
time
a story.
Ago. Yeah,
I love this.
So it was a header, right, on kind of a floated ball into the box.
Yeah,
and he thrashed it home. He also got an assist.
Should have had two. Second, another great chance he created led to a shot off the post.
So he's looking sharp. Is he?
Yeah, after the better part of 2 years out, he gave some great quotes to Nick Miller of The Athletic after the game. And I think this is something that USMNT watchers will want to read because unprompted, Daryl went into mentioned the World Cup, said, he's still dreaming. And he's dreaming about not just any World Cup, next summer's World Cup. And I'm sure that's one of those kind of things that kept him sane and kept him looking forward and kept him positive after the better part of 2 years out with just Achilles nightmares. He said, this is Daryl Dike speaking to The Athletic. That's one of my goals. Every single player has always dreamt of playing at a World Cup. I'd love to be part of that squad. Anytime you're able to represent your country, it's a big honor, especially on a big stage like that. Of course, I'll be working towards that all season to be able to be a part of it.
If you were him, would you send a message to Poch? Be like, hey, I'm coming.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, what do you have to lose?
Yeah. And I would at least beg for or ask or just shake the bushes or whatever to ask if there's any way he could even just train this summer, because he's been out so long and he gets back just at the very end of the season. He's hungry right now. I'm sure he wants to be in any high level environment he can be in. I would think now, we step back a minute. I mean, this position that we've agonized over for years and years now, the number 9 spot, there's actually some really interesting storylines happening, and he's one of them. Again, given how much Poch has spoken publicly, clearly, conscientiously about trying to create hunger and create competition and open up the players' ideas of what's possible around this program. I think you give Daryl a call and see what he's up to this summer.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's claimed the job, really. I know Rico's the people's choice, but or at least some of the people's choice.
Still hurt,
gonna be able to
right?
play
I mean, he hasn't played a game, so
I don't know what the update is on him.
I mean, the original timeline was 3 months, right? So we are past that now, but it's just awkward with the European season ending.
That's a shame, man.
Sargent is whatever the opposite of the people's choice is. That's what Sargent is.
Yeah,
but I don't want to give up on him yet. Yeah, I wonder how much lobbying is going on behind the scenes because I mean, I'd be lobbying if I were a player.
Come on.
Yeah,
What
it's
else?
not your average Gold Cup.
Yeah. But it's kind of hard to imagine some of them lobbying, there's just the thorough passivity that they give off. Just show me just give me my plane tickets, show me where to go. I'll be there. I might play hard, I might not,
I mean, that's the coaching staff's job, really, right? I mean, they're the ones that should be making the calls and sending texts and asking, "Are you up?" and stuff, right? But you guys are touching on something. I was on Soccer Wise with David Goss a few days ago, and we were talking about how this is such a unique situation, right? You don't have qualification games. You're a little more than a year out. Things are bad, but also there's a lot of interesting players right now making interesting pushes. So I think we have to sort of the community around the national team has to sort of open up its preconceived notions about what this summer is going to look like, what the next year is going to look like, because there's going to be players coming out of nowhere, right? I mean, this is what the program needs. At least that's certainly what the coach seems to think it needs, and I think there's reasons for that. I mean, someone like Brian White, someone like Sebastian Berhalter, that's way closer to the realm of plausibility than it would have been not that long ago.
Mm-hmm. I just worry that Poch isn't. Well, we talked about this at length. Just worry that he's not paying attention, basically.
Well, so we'll see it a lot now. We'll be able to tell a lot going forward, right? It's like now that you got your bell rung, we'll see how he responds. I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be well, that he's gonna get into gear, because he's a professional soccer coach. Nobody, he don't like to lose, I would assume, and he got a job to do. So
yeah,
but
he's in London, right? So you would think that, and I know recency bias is just a human thing. He's got to be reading about Daryl Dike with his morning coffee the same way we are today, right? I mean, he's got the tabs and that frantic media environment. He's immersed in that at the moment. So, I would have a wide conception of what's possible for the next go round, the next roster.
Okay. Yeah. All right. A few more things before we get to, Vancouver, which we all want to talk about. Well, just really one more thing. Leeds have won the championship. So, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, but this is why Brendan is maybe available for Wrexham. Yeah. I'm not reading all these stats.
I'll just say I think Brendo had a good game. I think he's had a lot of good games. After hitting a little bit of a lull at the start of the year in the early months of 2025, it doesn't. I think he's won over a chunk of that fan base, but it's widespread reporting suggests that he has not won over enough people inside and around Leeds United Football Club.
Well, yeah. It seems like everyone's on the chopping block, including the manager. Like his job's in danger as well. It seems
that would be insane, but yeah.
Well, you're at the right place for the insanity to transpire. Leeds is very chaotic.
Ellen Road, baby.
They're marching through the streets, man. They got a championship parade happening, I think, possibly as we speak. I mean, they had thousands of people in the streets for the parade because they won the title, and he was, again, I don't think he turned up on the score sheet in this last game, but they've been. He talked to the media after the game about how it's Leeds United brand, like that they always do this. They're dramatic, right? That everything is they've had come from behind results. They've had blowouts. They've had so much drama. They really are. It's like, I don't know if it was being the subject of a reality show documentary that put them in this zone or vice versa. But this is a drama club, and whether he stays or goes, I mean, that's going to continue to be a big factor in Brendan Aaronson's life. So,
What a
You know
privilege it
what?
would be to score 9 goals at Ellen Road in a season, you know?
9-2.
Yeah.
It
Come on,
would be. It would be.
73 chances created on the season. The dude's still not getting respect.
Yeah, not for me, really. But I'm excited for him. I'm excited for his future. I don't care if he stays. I don't think he needs to stay at Leeds. In fact, it probably makes more sense for him to leave as they go to the Premier League. Go somewhere where you can be, an important player, I would say. And he was that for Leeds. I don't know about important player, but he played a lot this season. He scored 9 goals, got 2 assists.
Go back a year. Think about what we were saying about this guy a year ago. What are you thinking?
Well,
Why
I've
is this
been
guy
saying
going
the same
back?
things about him for the last 5 years, so I can't remember. What were people saying about him last year?
Well, he had, he insisted on wanted out after the relegation
Oh,
at all costs, right? Had used a relegation clause in his contract, then didn't, after a year in Germany at Union, didn't get the move maybe that people would have thought that that's what he was trying to get from that year-long loan spell. And told everybody. I mean, I caught up with him when the national team were here in DC around that time, and he was like, I just, I want to go back. I got unfinished business, like, and he did it.
yeah.
I mean, we can talk about the flaws that remain in his game, but like he said, he wanted to improve his position at that club and leave in a better place than the first time. And if he leaves, then he's done what he said. So credit for that.
Yeah, mission accomplished for sure. Yeah. Let's do Vancouver. So this happened since we last convened to discuss Vancouver. So they beat Inter Miami in the second leg in Miami. Second leg of the semifinals in the Champions Cup, 3-1. So it's 5-1 on aggregate. Utter humiliation for the Flamingos. And Vancouver in the CCC final. And Sebastian Berhalter scored, and Brian White scored, which basically happens every 4 days now. So
on an assist from Berhalter.
Right. Pretty cool what's going on over there. I guess we had Jeremiah O'Shan on last week, and I asked him, is it hard in Seattle when Vancouver is this good? And he said, you know what? Actually, there is technically a rivalry, but nobody cares. It's like if Portland was good, then everyone in Seattle would be mad about it. But Vancouver's good; they're fine with that. I was surprised by that.
It is such a Cinderella story too. I mean, that's the thing. Anybody who's paying attention to this, MLS watchers at other clubs. So I probably don't have to tell you guys, Inter Miami is not the neutrals, or sorry, the neutrals' favorite, but they are not a favorite of fans of other clubs, right? This is already a widely reviled club because it's a celebrity driven project, and they're spending a lot of money, and they're flashy, and some of that's not entirely fair, but not a hard club to, I think, for fans elsewhere in MLS to root against. And Vancouver is like the Epicurean ideal of the Cinderella that is going to come along and make an upset like this as satisfying as it could possibly be for a neutral. Just to run through, so Vancouver spends something like the market size is about half the size of South Florida. They spend a fraction of what Miami spend on their salaries on their squad. Their biggest star, such as it is Ryan Gauld. He's a Scottish international and is their highest paid player. One of the only people on the team making 7 figures in annual guaranteed compensation, and he's been hurt. He's missed out on most of this Champions Cup run. And the coach just got here. Jesper Sorensen had arrived with approximately 0 North American soccer experience and is just bossing the league and Champions Cup. They are leading the Supporters Shield standings. Almost every MLS team making a deep CONCACAF Champions run ever has suffered, or at least had to tread water in the league. And they torched. They come back from an insanely intense midweek trip, like to Miami or to Mexico, and like they'll torch whoever they're playing in the league, which is just unheard of. And they're doing it with there's some couple academy kids that are involved. There's these kind of like project players that didn't make it at their first spot and are now getting a second chance and are getting coached up. Every player on the squad, every player who takes the field is showing a level that is their best they've ever shown or that they've never shown before in their career. It's just incredible.
I was going to say, it wasn't Berhalter picked up off waivers from Austin or something?
From Columbus. He went on loan to Austin. They, I guess, didn't do enough to convince them to part with any funding, but I think Vancouver paid $50,000 in allocation money with another $50,000 in potential, performance-based incentives. That's going down as already it's looking like one of the best trades in MLS history. I think $50K is the least that you can send. That's like the minimum amount that can be involved in a transaction. So this was a flyer, and he's incredible. I mean, he is statistically and for the eye test the best 8 on the continent right now.
Whoa!
And no one saw that. I mean, it's just unreal. Like, he runs all day, he covers ground, he's making incredibly effective and smart late runs into the box. He's seeing everything at a high level. His fitness is incredible. The only drawback is that he picked up a yellow in the second leg. So he, under CONCACAF's somewhat strange caution rules, he's going to miss the final. But Ryan Gauld may be back, so we'll see. I mean, I still, if it's Vancouver, Cruz Azul, fun storylines on both sides. Actually, there's a bunch of MLS tie-ins with Cruz Azul, which is a weird thing to say about a Mexican giant. But June 1st is going to be a fun one in Mexico City.
Coming right up, 26 days from now.
That's plenty of time for the for the mob to get like I've heard. You've seen some tricklings. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is ridiculous." Sam Berhalter got to be out for this final, but 26 days, we can really get a petition going, garner some support, to see if we can petition CONCACAF to get the man's in there, man.
Love that.
I wonder how Sebastian feels about the U.S. men's national team and its fandom in particular.
Jeff Ruder at The Athletic did a good 1v1 of them last week. Urge all listeners to go read it, because he talks about and he didn't really get into he tried to get him talking about the Gio Reyna stuff, and apparently they used to be homies. Sounds like they're no longer homies. But he didn't really open up a ton about that, the dramatic side of Greg Berhalter's tenure, but he did talk about one of the most meaningful experiences in his progress as a professional was during the pandemic. He went home to Chicago and was just living at home and lockdown, and he and Greg would go out to their local field and just do sessions. And he had the full attention of the national team coach in those moments. And that helped him find new facets to his game, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. Well, Luna scored a goal, a penalty, and Brian White was named MLS Player of the Month for April. 5 goals in 3 games. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, and White. If you didn't watch the Miami Vancouver game, the White scored the backbreaker, the first of Vancouver's goals, which was the away goal. That because Miami scored first, so they were only one goal down in aggregate going into halftime, and Vancouver were rocking, and then they were just totally different story after the break. And White got gets an inline cutback from Berhalter for the all important away goal, and his movement on the play is just like, it's elite. Just like it's training film. I mean, for a striker play, like step for step with center backs, he's bracketed by both center backs, just hits the brakes and makes himself a pocket of space for one touch, left-footed finish from right around the penalty spot. Just beautiful.
Did he? The clip I saw, I couldn't tell if he Cruyffed it in or if he passed it in side foot in front of his plant leg.
Yeah, he contorted his body a little bit. It looked to me like just a side foot, but so clinical because he he hit it. I think pretty sure that's his weaker foot, and he tucks it right inside the far post. First time. I mean, it looked like they had done it on the training ground maybe 1,000 times. Just the understanding and the speed of thought was remarkable.
Yeah.
Dude was just a revelation over the two legs in the CCC in general. He's been really good. Against Miami, he was just a different level. I mean, everything you'd want from a 9. So I'm just so impressed with the dude. Very much a late bloomer. I get that he still maybe has to show something to really be in the conversation with the very top of that depth chart at the number 9 spot. But he's earned that chance because he's doing it. He's not just an MLS standout. This is a guy who's doing it against, 2 of the best teams in Mexico, just did it against Miami.
Yeah.
Great player.
And we know Poch is very good at seeing what's in front of him, maybe less good at seeing what's not in front of him. But you got to think there's a decent chance he brings Brian White in the summer. He's already had him in a camp, and he keeps scoring goals, and he probably can't be bothered to research anything else. So there we go.
But there's dirty work too. I mean, the guy can occupy a center back. I mean, he's just a beast. Even a hopeful long ball in his direction, he's gonna make the center backs work, and then is able to turn and play and get his team forward. So I think there's a lot to offer there.